Hi, and welcome to this episode of the DC Live podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Georgie, and today we're going to chat with someone about something in the life of our church. Well, today we have joining us in the studio, Mrs. Helen Machin. Hello.
Oh, hi, Georgie. Hi, Nathan. How are you going?
We're good.
We are great.
We're very glad to have you today to share your testimony with us and just chat through a bit about your life and your story.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Now, your nickname is H-Mach. Is that right?
There's a few nicknames, but yeah.
We like that one, so we're going to call you H-Mach.
Okay.
I'll call you Helen.
Oh, thank you. My father used to call me H-E. So,
okay.
H-E.
I know. Yeah. Don't know how that...
Did you forget how to spell the rest of the name? Or
He was as good a speller as I am, so that's probably why.
Well, speaking of your parents, where did you grow up? Tell us about that part of your life.
Yeah, I was born in Brisbane and moved out to Peak Crossing when I was 4 and been out there ever since.
Tree change.
Pardon?
A tree change.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And I won't be leaving. I'm a country girl, born and bred. Well, not quite born, but yes.
Definitely bred.
Yes, definitely bred.
So the farm where you are now, is that the same farm that you grew up on?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was blessed. I came from a really good family, Christian family, probably not as full on a lot of families, but their faith in God was always there and encouraging us to go through. And I was very blessed, particularly with my father, in the sense he was a very good father to us. And I think that's very important in kids' lives, and I think they're missing out on a lot of that these days. So, so I'm the eldest of three girls in the family, so there's 2 younger sisters. And, and grew up on the farm and went to school and worked on the farm and rode horses and motorbikes and did cattle work and tractor work and...
Wow.
So many of our folks grew up on farms and the country. I feel like I've missed out, George.
I'm sorry. It's not too late.
But you know, your name Georgina means farm girl.
Yeah, thanks.
Doesn't it?
We're here to talk about Helen, not me.
Yeah.
Sounds good, George. I like diversion.
So you grew up on a farm, pretty good, supportive, faithful family. Growing up doing all the things a farm girl should do. So what did you want to be a farmer when you grew up? Did you want to just continue in that line?
Yeah, actually when I went through school, I was actually accepted at Gatton Uni, Queensland Uni to do, I wanted to do an ag course.
Okay.
But Mum and Dad sat me down and it's not really a thing for girls to do because I was really... I love genetics and creation, and that side of it was just is me.
Yeah.
And so I started doing then nursing, but because I have language spelling issues and comprehension issues, it was a little bit difficult because a lot of if you ever looked at medical terminology, whoa.
Well, it's not just English, is it? It goes beyond English.
Oh, yes. So that side of it was a real struggle. Enjoyed the nursing side of it, looking after people and just being with them in the various times that they needed people there. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. So I then, because I was so young, I actually started that when I was 16 and I just about to turn 17. Confronting with death was a bit hard. Yeah. I'd seen animals die and that didn't worry me, but to actually see I just turned 17, someone dying was pretty confronting. So I decided to then at that point just continue with my enroll nursing and go and do administration work. Ended up working coal mine and in administration, not digging, and and then married, had kids, and and then back to around the full circle.
Yeah, back to nursing.
yeah. Though I'm on long service leave at the moment, so that's all great.
Well done.
So you just said married and kids and sort of,
That was very quick.
Too quick HMH.
35 years of it.
So you're married to Dave.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
David.
Mr.
Yes.
Machin.
Now,
Yes.
did you meet in the church?
Yes, we did.
And is this at Central in the Switch?
Yes.
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 Okay. So
Central
tell us.
Brizzy.
Yep. And did you grow up there? Was that the local?
No, we were going
not
to
for
the
you?
Congregational Church down
Okay.
the road.
Yep.
And it got to a point that Mum decided it went uniting and there wasn't youth around
Okay.
at our age.
Yep.
So Mum, as ex-Presbyterians, because, we went back into Ipswich and she took us back in.
Okay.
I was about 15, 16 when I went back in there. And so David and I were just friends for years and years.
good
and that was
friends.
it. Yeah. And I just sort of moved on from there. And then been married 35 years this September, 3 kids, Amy, Jane and Stephen, and 3 grandchildren. So it's all good.
Love and life. Tell us about ministry that you and David have. So you lead one of our MCGs
Yes.
at Disciples Church and have done so for a little while. Have you done previous ministry together before doing that role?
Probably at Central Prezi Church in Ipswich. David was an elder. I was on committee of management. It's not really missionary type of work, though, there, doing that. More so, I found myself more helping in the youth group at that particular time when the kids were there. And I just tend to be the motherly type and was just there and, doing meals on the Sunday and camp cook and things like that. So we did a lot with the youth group and camp parents at that time. And then we came through into DC and the different philosophy with regards to home group, Bible study,
Yep.
MCG type thing. So we run a group and we tend to be the older crowd, generally speaking. It's bed by 8 o'clock. No, not quite. But, so we got the older crowd and a lot of mature Christians there. But at the end of the day, it's amazing, even though people are mature in their faith or been in their faith a long time, and everyone has different journeys and getting there and stuff,
Yeah.
we still have the same rubbish that goes on in our lives.
Yeah.
And it's getting through that, and suppose that's one of the things, sort of, being a little bit closer, you get to know some of that stuff and help out. But so that's a little bit of a different thing rather than going up just to Bible study.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to remind us all that whatever season we're in and or however old we are or whatever we're doing, we still need to apply the gospel to our lives and I guess gospel ourselves and each other through those moments, whether it seems to be more obvious, with young kids or health issues or, whatever relational issues you might have, but it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't go away. Great.
No, because our inner self, our inner sin comes out regardless of the situation. And, it still raises its ugly head regardless of what season of life you're in and what you're dealing with in life at that particular time. The same things always come out. And, so that's always an internal struggle for everyone, I think.
And how has that affected you going from that shift in ministry philosophy from sort of, I guess, more of a serving role to becoming more of a discipling role in your ministry?
It's actually hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm tending to be more on a serving person working quietly in the background is my nature. I'm actually more of happy being an introvert and in my own field and in my own little world and being out on the farm, that's me. And having people around all the time, I just go, oh my goodness, please, give me back to my motorbike or something going up the back paddock. So that's a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well, then why do you do it? So what drives you?
Sometimes I ask myself why. I'm being honest. But I think sometimes things are bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And you need to look past who you are to look at that there's something bigger. And I suppose that's a struggle I always have to deal with that, because I would like to go back into my little shell and be comfortable. But to me, it's everything is there's a bigger picture. Like, as I said, I'm very big on creation. I'm very big on that side of things, that bigger, and seeing that bigger picture. You've got to look back and look at the whole picture. And sometimes I just got to force myself to get over myself to be there for others in a way that may not necessarily be where I'm comfortable at.
Yeah, yeah.
And when did that first sort of happen for you? Like, when was that moment, whether you were a young child or a teenager or as an adult, you know, where I guess that big faith moment for you in the big picture of the gospel and God's story outworking in your life? When did that become a real faith moment for you?
Look, I think I was around the 16 mark, and it was at a youth camp where I always believed there was God. And I got to a point I thought, okay, I believe in creation. I've always felt the truth of that, of Genesis 1, in the beginning, God. And I remember thinking, if I believe that, why don't I believe other things? You've got to, because therefore, where do you start and where do you stop believing in God's word?
Yeah.
And you can't cherry pick.
No.
And I thought, well, rightio then, because I'd never had a problem with any of that, I've got to own and understand and believe and act on the rest of it when the gospel comes into play. And that Jesus was there from the beginning. God was there from the beginning. He designed this imperfect body. He designed this life. But Jesus was the one who came to redeem me. And I realised at that point I had to own that. And I had to profess Christ as my saviour.
Yeah.
And so that's roughly. So it was around that 16 mark. And so everything was a journey. Was it easy? No, there are times you still keep going back to your old self.
Yeah.
But so that's sort of my journey in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's good. Now, growing up on a farm, you know, out in the country with the stars above you, did you have a strong sense of God's? You mentioned God's creation a couple of times, and is that a place that you feel the most at home? You know, in nature, in created things. Do you find that you connect to God better when you're away from urban areas?
Yes, I see God there in the countryside. When I come into urban, I can actually see the sin of man.
Yeah, right.
Very much so. So even things like when I'm crying out, or when I need to be in a really deep prayer moment, I can go up to the back of the paddock and I force myself to be quiet, because so often we get so busy in our own thought, we forget to be quiet. And I force myself to be quiet, and I go, right, what can I hear? And I can hear the breeze, I can hear the insects and the different birds, and identifying the birds, and, hear a cow or hear a noise behind me and it's a kangaroo, or, and to me it grounds me back to this dirt that I'm on is God created all of this, and there is complexity in every bit of design, whether it's through the respiratory systems of all the different animals, or the trees, or the fish. There's so much complexity in all of it. There's God in all of it. So when I come into the city, I just see man-made structures everywhere, and so to me it is a very grounding thing, and I I just think everyone should do it. It's just
You might have a whole bunch of people on your back paddock.
Yeah.
What's your address again?
like to hop on the back bike and go up to when
Yeah.
it's sunset, see sunsets at the moment, and we're up high about the same level of Cunningham Gap, and you look out and you see the colours and the clouds and the mountains, and then you see the night stars coming out, and you can do nothing but
Majestical.
see God's glory
Yeah.
in all of it.
And just want to worship.
Yeah. So, that's why I'm probably an introvert.
Yeah. So how does that give you hope then? I mean, obviously you can't live out in the back paddock.
Well, some people can.
Well, I mean, I know you live on a paddock, but
She's got the
not
motorbike.
there.
That's right.
You can't live in those moments of, when you're completely alone and in isolation in terms of, just listening to silence and animals and birds. So how does that moment of worship and of looking at God in awe then give you hope when you do go back into life in the city and the busyness and craziness of everything?
Yeah, well, it gives me hope in the sense that it strengthens my faith that God is there and God is there for me, even in every little moment. Being an introvert and, got some issues in myself and valuing of myself, it takes that off me and puts it onto God.
Yeah.
And so when you come back into your everyday moment and dealing with people, and I found this particularly when I came back nursing a few years ago, being sort of like 38 years on and having that extra maturity, dealing with people who are passing away, as I said, when I was 17, it was very confronting.
Yeah.
To be it when I was, like 58, there's a different. I actually feel honoured to be there with people and giving them that comfort. And it's amazing when you see people who have got a faith in God. They said they can't wait for the party, and they're a little scared. They're a little worried, sometimes maybe about family, but they're confident. They're really strong in
Assurance,
confidence, while people who don't have it keep fighting it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, going back to nature gives me that confidence to face those things later on.
Tell us about being married to Dave. Over the years,
Just the good stuff.
it's all good, right?
Yep.
What,
I'll tell you a little secret in a minute.
What's been what has God showed you through being able to be married, to someone?
David?
Yeah, for that long.
I've got a lot more patience than I actually thought I had.
That's great.
Wonderful. It comes from the Lord.
Yes. It all has its moments, but I can't even remember what the question was. But,
Something about marriage.
yeah, look, it has its moments, and there's days I want to pack my bag, but he never would because he just doesn't realise how good he has got it. But
And he's probably listening right now.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. See, I really do like my feet tickled and my back tickled.
Okay.
And to get that, I have to say to him that he's the greatest living man since Jesus. But I can't say it just, you're the greatest living man since Jesus. I've got to say it like I mean it. So, yeah.
It wouldn't be
I've
difficult.
got to say this quite regularly. He's the greatest living man since Jesus.
Good stuff, Dave.
So that's our marriage.
Marriage counselling for all of us.
Are there any words of advice for the younger generation?
Yeah. Sometimes it is more about, it's not about you. And it's not about your happiness. And sometimes you just got to get over some of those issues and just get on with one another. And so much we can get caught up in our own self-righteousness that we forget about the other person. We forget about other people and forget about how that is a witness to other people, how our marriage is. And so, yes, look, there's no doubt about it. Marriage can be hard at times, but there's a lot of good moments. And, so, Yeah, so he's a good man in spite of...
He is.
Well, he is the greatest living man since Jesus.
Yeah.
But, you know, he generally is a good man. So we don't have too many problems.
That's good. I mean, it's a good reminder. I mean, clearly we have the perfect marriage, Nathan and I, and we don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
But
we're writing a book.
it is a good reminder for all of us that, you know, marriage is just a reflection of the relationship that we have with Christ. And, you know, that involves submission and sacrifice and love. And ultimately, that love is not putting yourself first, but putting someone else first. That's really great.
I remember one elderly gentleman at a patient. They were elderly, and he was at the end stage of life, and they'd been married a long time. And he said to me, "The problem is people give up on their marriages so quickly."
Yeah,
and he'd been married something 60 odd years, and he said the sweetest days are coming, and that just hit me. That, you know, he just. The way that he just said it so passionately. He said he could have walked out in his marriage, his wife could have walked out in the marriage in the difficult times, he said, but the sweetest days are yet to come. And these was very strong Christians. And, yeah, it was very nice conversation.
Yeah, it's good. Now, you have grandchildren.
Yes.
And how has that stage of life been for you?
I love my children. I'm a bit of a mother hen, and I like them all around. It does make me realise that while you have children in your 20s and 30s and not in your 50s, at one stage I thought that would be nice, but no, I've changed my mind. But no, it's I love it, and seeing them develop their little personalities and stuff coming through, and I even seeing. And moulding them. And I keep saying to people, you got to use every moment, whether it's good or bad, as teachable moments. And whether that is just someone being good and sharing and saying, that's really good. That's what, you know, Jesus would like you to share these things, and just use every moment, not just getting mad at them, but using the moments when they are really good as teachable moments. Every moment's a teachable moment. And I see that with the kids now, the grandkids now. So, yeah, no, and when they come running up to you and go, Nana, Nana, and, you know, the most important person in the world, and they go straight past Mum or straight past Dad. It's all about me.
Yeah, it's precious.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
What are the things that you look forward to in your life? Is it family? Is it faith? Is it a bit of everything? Is there something that particularly drives you forward?
Drives me forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that one. Probably driving me forward is very family orientated, and being there for the kids, and I like to be able to help my grandkids and my kids to find Christ, and that's what's probably driving me in a lot of cases. And constantly in prayer for them, because I know their salvation is not guaranteed. But what I can do is pray for them, pray for the Holy Spirit to rest on them, and be there to help them. And at times I think, and it's good to have, God created family, and He created extended family for a reason. And just having as more people in kids' lives to be able to be there where they can run to and find safe haven to be able to share those things. So, so that's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
Well, thank you, HMH, for
Nana Helen
having a chat with us on our couch. We appreciate you coming in and getting to know you, and we appreciate it. Thank you for leading one of our MCGs and for serving our people so well. And thanks for coming.
Thank you, Nathan and Georgie, for opening up your house and doing this.
You're very welcome.
It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought. Thank you.
If you'd like more information about what's going on at Disciples Church, check out our website.
Or email us at podcast@disciples.org.au if you have any questions or feedback. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you next week.